Who is the minister?
See, the Minister of Civil Aviation then was Mr. Praful Patel.
An exclusive chat with former CNAG Vinod Rai, triggering the biggest controversy of the year. Vinod Rai making a stinging allegation.
They were trying to downplay the influence of the Civil Aviation Minister Praful Patel.
Oh, most certainly so. Most certainly so.
A day after Vinod Rai's charges, more skeletons tumbling out of the closet. And the result, a heated political fight in the capital.
Don't misinterpret! Don't misinterpret, Sanjay Jha!
For an airliner reeling under massive debts, this show of largesse was clearly a questionable move.
Planes that they finally buy.
What followed was an aggressive interview of Praful Patel, where he countered Vinod Rai in equal measure.
Praful Patel, good evening and thank you for joining me on Frankly Speaking. I think the time has come for you to clear the air about a few issues, also to take a few straight questions, because whether you like it or not, you are at the nub of a growing controversy on what exactly your role was as Civil Aviation Minister and the huge transactions that some people, especially Vinod Rai, say you forced upon Air India, landing them in financial ruin. Mr. Praful Patel, are you ready to go straight to the point?
Yes, certainly, Arnab. First, I am saddened that a former constitutional authority who is also bound by confidentiality obligations has chosen to go public and made unsubstantiated and frivolous allegations, and in your interview, of course. And I don't want to join issues with him, but all I would like to remind him that as a former bureaucrat himself, I'm sure he knows the rules of business, government better than anybody else. I am only trying to say that, this is creating sensationalism just for the sake of some publicity, maybe to enhance his economic interest by selling a book post-retirement, and also, I would say, in a way, just, looking for publicity because after his retirement, nobody's actually, following him, so maybe he's feeling a little lost. But having said that, I would like to also put the record straight that, such kind of major things cannot be said on the basis of conjecture. They have to be based on facts. And I'm very, very sorry to say that as a former CA and AG himself, he should know that audit reports are prepared on the basis of facts and documents which are presented to them. You cannot conjecture about anything. And more importantly, the document which he's relying to
Mr.
is
Patel,
this document.
It's a long introductory comment. You must take my questions. You haven't even taken a single question yet.
Arnab, I will take your question, but let me complete. This book, which is presented to Parliament, is then discussed in a Public Accounts Committee, which is where he himself is present when the matter is discussed. So none of these opportunities he had. Neither in this document. He should have put the word nudge.
Okay, so
he himself has quoted in your own interview,
Mr. Patel,
that in the parlance which he has used in your interview, that auditors don't usually use the word formulation nudge, and therefore I sought to drop it.
Mr. Patel, now let's go. Let's at least.
Officials went and told him.
No, Mr. Patel. Now let me ask the question on that, please. No, I won't let you run away with this one, Mr. Patel. Let's go straight to the point. Vinod Rai, Mr. Patel, I want your attention. Vinod Rai, in his book and his interview to me, which clearly has irritated you, says that the Civil Aviation Ministry officials pressurized the CNAG to drop the word nudged with reference to the acquisition of additional planes for Air India. Now, my question to you is, how many officials did you send to lobby with the CNAG to get that particular word dropped?
I have never met Mr. Vinod Rai.
No, I'm not asking you whether you have met Vinod Rai. I want you to tell me the names of the people who you sent.
I am saying it, Arnab. Now, will you just... No, Arnab, either I say it properly. More importantly, I have not sent a single official. That is more important. The second thing is...
So they went on their own?
This report which he's presented to Parliament was presented 6 months after I demitted the office of Civil Aviation Minister.
Irrelevant.
6 months after I was not even the Civil Aviation Minister.
Fine, but 1 second. But
I want to know which official is so benevolent to me that after I even demit office keeps going to the CNAG's office to say that
Mr. Patel,
the word nudge.
Mr. Patel,
the word nudge he himself has acknowledged in your own interview which
Mr.
you have
Patel,
been showing
please.
again and again, where he says that the formulation
Mr. Patel,
nudge
factually
doesn't
you are
work in an audit
factually you are
report,
not,
and therefore I dropped it.
factually you are on thin ice because Mr. Vinod Rai is speaking of a
What do you mean
time.
thin ice?
Now you got to
I
hear
am
me,
not on
Mr.
any thin
Rai.
ice.
You got to hear me, Mr. Rai. Mr. Rai speaks of a time that a draft report was being prepared. Now recall, Praful Patel, that the first draft report was submitted to the Civil Aviation Ministry in November 2010 at a time when you were very much the Civil Aviation Minister. He says, please see in the book. He says in the book, you please see, and I quote. He says in the book, in the draft audit report.
Okay, even
in the draft audit report, when you were the minister.
Even if he's talking of the word nudge, I want to know one thing very clearly. Is that on what basis did he even arrive at that? Even if it was in the draft report, on what basis did he arrive at the word nudge?
Did you dispatch the officials?
Does he not in this same report?
Did you dispatch?
Should then write that. No, listen to me.
Did you dispatch
I
officials?
Speak, please.
Did you dispatch officials?
No, I have to. No, I did not. I did not. If that's an answer you want, I did not. And let him name which official. I have not dispatched a single official. If that is my word,
because you understand. No, because you understand the point being made.
No, listen to me one more thing. Why does he's an auditor, he's saying that 68 planes were ordered by Praful Patel. Does he not have the full knowledge and the papers are in front of him that out of these 68 planes, 15 planes were finalized at the last minute in an empowered group of ministers headed by Mr. P. Chidambaram? Only 53 planes were ordered by not ordered, approved by the Air India board.
What role did Chidambaram have?
And I am quoting one.
What role did Chidambaram have? No, go into detail. What role did Chidambaram have?
You have to give. No, Arnav.
What role did Chidambaram have?
I will read from this statement.
But answer the question. What role did Chidambaram have?
No.
What role did Chidambaram have, Mr. Patel? You can read from that, but you first tell me what role did Chidambaram have? Chidambaram was presumably only the postman, putting a stamp of approval on decisions taken by you.
Listen, Arnav. Now, Arnav, if this is the way you're going to talk, it is unfair. I am just going to quote from Mr. Vinod Rai's book. Air India aircraft acquisition process had taken unduly long time. The initial proposal was made in December 1996 and examination continued in fits and starts till January 2004. Once Air India revisited their earlier proposal and sent a plan for acquiring 68 aircraft, 53 firm and 15 optional.
Fine.
The process gained momentum. Now between August 2004 and December 2005, the proposals were formulated by Air
Patel,
India.
I have a number of questions you're not taking up.
Examined and approved by Ministry of Civil Aviation.
Yes.
The Planning Commission, the Department of Expenditure, Project Investment Board, empowered group of ministers, and then the CCEA, the Cabinet Committee.
So, Mr. Patel, can I ask you something, or are you just going to make unilateral comments? No, at this stage of the interview, I have to make a point, Mr. Patel.
Air India with Boeing.
Mr. Patel, I have to make a point at this stage. Please, I request you, please. So, Mr. Patel, I think you've come here fully armed and saying, I'm going to make a series of unilateral comments. It does not matter what Arnav asks.
Well, somebody has made an insinuation against me, an allegation against me. How can I not give you the facts?
Mr.
I have
Patel,
to read only from what I am not quoting a single line out of the book.
So now answer my questions.
Presented by Mr. Vinod Rai.
Mr. Patel, now you have to answer my question.
Go ahead.
Answer, and
go ahead.
No, first let me understand from you, Mr. Patel, that when I ask you the questions, you'll answer the question. You will not dodge the question with giving another answer. I will ask you 6 questions.
I have not dodged. I'm giving you.
I will ask you 6 questions now. Mr. Patel, let us be very clear on this. I'll ask you 6 questions now, and I want answers to all the 6 questions.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready, first of all, to take them?
You have to allow me to answer.
Okay, so my first question to you is, and now we are getting into the issue of the aircraft ordered when you were minister. Mr. Patel, the original proposal was for 28 aircraft. 18 short haul, like Boeing B737-800s. And one minute, Mr. Patel, you're not the only person who knows the facts. And 10 long-haul Airbus A340. Am I correct up to this point?
Yes.
Am I correct up to this point?
Yes.
Okay. Now,
correct.
Proposal revised by Praful Patel to 18 short haul. No,
that
1
is
minute.
where you're wrong.
Mr. Patel, allow me to complete. Allow me to complete.
Okay,
so let's say the proposal revised to. Okay, since you're sensitive to the use of the word proposal revised by Praful Patel to, the proposal revised to 18 short-haul Boeing B737-800 and 50, not 15 but 50 long-haul aircraft like 23 B777s and 27 B787s. Am I right up to this point? Am I right up to this point?
Yes.
So, sir.
Yes,
So,
yes, of
sir,
course.
please understand. Okay, great. Thank you very much, because usually you say that I'm wrong on everything. So, my point is, Mr. Patel.
No, I'm not saying you're
So,
wrong.
my point is, Mr. Patel, the whole focus shifts to these tremendous and presumably expensive long-haul aircraft. There's an increase by 500% from 10 to 50. No, Mr. Patel, please. From 10 to 50, which
Yeah,
jacks
go
up.
ahead,
No,
I'm
one
stopping
second.
you.
One second. Which jacks up the cost considerably. Am I right up to this point?
okay,
Okay,
you might
now
want to
therefore
say
the fourth point
more.
is, thank you, you and I are totally in agreement that this makes the finance ministry remark that this seems to be some kind of a supply-driven proposal.
That is what Mr. Vinod Rai is saying.
No, did the
Project
finance
Investment
ministry
Board is
remark
headed
that this
by
was a
the-
supply
one
side
second.
proposal?
PIB,
Supply-driven
you please
proposal.
Now listen. Okay. Go ahead, complete, because
Okay.
you won't let me speak.
No, I won't. I will completely let you speak. Now, my question is,
I hope so.
how did the EGOM, thanks for the sarcasm, how did the EGOM, in which you were present, confirm the number to 68 when even the recommendation of your ministry and finance was a firm number of 50 plus 18 as an option?
Correct.
And
Correct.
when all of this
For
was
that-
happening,
for that,
and thank you, you are
Mr.
completely
Mr. Rai's
agreeing
book
with me,
is-
everything. When all of this was happening,
Yes.
there's a financial advisor called V. Subramaniam, additional secretary and financial advisor, who raises concerns about what on earth is going on, he says. What on
No,
earth
no,
is
this
going
was-
on, he
this was
says,
much-
and
this is different. No.
and then he's shunted out.
You're-
He's thrown
now,
out
now
2
you're
days
going
later.
back and forth, which is completely wrong.
He's thrown out 2
Okay,
days
anyway.
later.
Now you please don't talk of all this.
Why
This
shouldn't
is all
I?
conjecturing and absolutely based on no facts now and no relevance to what you're talking.
What is factually wrong in what I
said? The
said?
subject which we are discussing is the number of planes. We are not discussing the role of individuals. We are talking of a process, how that process culminated, whether that process was right, wrong, whether it was nudged by Praful Patel or driven by somebody. That is the issue we are talking, okay? And the issue
No,
here
all the
is,
5 points
as
which
you
I raised,
rightly
I thought you
pointed
and I
out,
agreed on that.
Yes. Now let me say something. You've asked your question.
No, I have one
Now, the
small point
here
to
is
make.
Very limited. Very limited. Limited. The last planes were bought for Air India during the era of Rajiv Gandhi. Okay? Many years had passed. All planes.
Sir,
were
the
in
320s
15,
bought,
20
one
years
second,
bracket.
the
No, now you
320s
have- no,
bought by
either I
Rajiv Gandhi
speak,
are still
otherwise
flying.
No,
The 320s,
way, I'm not
the
going to allow you to
320s,
interrupt
the
me.
320s
Please,
bought by
I'm not
Rajiv
going to
Gandhi
allow
are
you to
still
interrupt
flying.
me. How does one explain? You are asking me, I have chosen to give you an answer. You have to understand it fully. Last planes were bought when Rajiv Gandhi was there. Air India, Indian Airlines combined fleet was around 100 aircraft, all aging aircraft, and that is why a proposal to buy these planes were there. In the year 2002, 2001, around that period, Vajpayee government had decided to disinvest Air India. And that is why, you remember, there was a Tata-Singapore joint venture which was about to buy. They withdrew at the last moment. And that is the backdrop in which that plane of 28 numbers which you are talking of was prepared, because the airline was almost on the verge of closure and disinvestment. Then when the government of Manmohan Singh came in 2004, May, when I was appointed the minister, we were asked whether we should run this airline. I mean, we asked the question to the Prime Minister, whether we should run this airline as a public airline or we should disinvest. Please advise. We were told that Government of India is going to run Air India as a public sector unit, and therefore the issue came up. The only time when Mr. Vinod Rai is conjecturing is a meeting of 2nd August where we asked Air India, please take a comprehensive view of a plan for next 15 years or so.
There you
and
are.
please remember, if you have to take up a 15-year comprehensive plan, remember, out of the 68 aircraft which you are questioning or Mr. Rai is tom-tomming about, even today, at least 13 to 15 planes of those 68 have not even arrived in India.
Now, Mr.
They have not even been bought by Air India. Because they have yet to be
Mr. Patel.
delivered.
Mr.
So
Patel.
any airline which will take, and
Mr.
you
Patel,
remember around the time of 2005,
can I ask you something
Indigo
now?
bought 100 planes on order.
Can I ask you something?
Jet Airways ordered hundreds of planes.
Can I ask you?
Kingfisher ordered. So many airlines came
So
in.
what? We are talking about Air India, not
aviation not to be looked at in that scenario?
But Mr.
And
Patel, can I ask you something?
What did we say?
Can I ask
we
you
only
something?
asked Air
No,
India
Mr. Patel.
come with a 15-year proposal.
Mr.
That's
Patel,
all.
now.
We did not tell them whether
No,
to
Mr.
buy
Patel,
A
now my
plane,
question.
B plane,
Take my question.
or X number of planes.
Okay, take my question. Take my question. Now, Mr. Patel, by the way, just as an observation, not as a question, the 320s bought during Rajiv Gandhi's time are still flying. You will be happy to know.
Yes, they do fly.
Yeah,
You
but
mean to say-
no, what?
you
Now let
mean
me
to
complete.
say
Now let me complete.
Passenger comfort,
Sir, what we want to know,
and technical dispatch reliability of a 25-year-old plane and the passengers' motivation to fly a particular airline that is not driven
sir,
by the fact
now
that
can
the
I
plane
please?
is how
You're
good.
giving away. Sir, can I please? I'm just telling you. People want to know how come the 777s had to be sold within 5 years of their purchase. That too, 5 at the price of 1 when they were bought. 5 at the price of 1 when they were bought. Now, you're a businessman also, sir. Do you run a business like this?
They have been sold 3 years. Listen to me. Number one, they have been sold 3 years after I ceased to be the minister.
No,
That's
but they
another
were
thing
sold,
altogether.
right?
But the fact is, the planes, are you not aware that India-US non-stop operations exist? Do you not agree with that? Are there no airlines
You're not
flying from
answering
India
my
to United
question.
States
What does
non-stop?
that have to do with the selling of 777 planes? That also within
therefore,
5 years of their purchase.
If Air India,
at 20% of the
cannot
cost.
commercially run an aircraft or airline the way any other, you mean to say Jet Airways has also got 10 777s which they bought.
Am I?
Out of the 10, for the last couple of years, 6 of the 777s have been leased out to foreign airlines because they are unable to operate them commercially successfully
But you know,
themselves.
Mr. Patel,
you mean to say Jet Airways has ministerial
Yeah, but I don't know one thing. Why don't understand one point,
Mr.
Mr. Patel?
4,000 crores this year, or some other airlines are losing money, or some airlines have
Mr.
closed down
Patel,
like Kingfisher in the past. Does it mean that the government interfered in this?
Mr.
The
Patel,
running of
please,
an airline, commercial running of an
Mr.
airline,
Patel,
and
the
successful
point
running
is,
of an airline, and passengers' attraction
the
to
point
an airline
is
driven by the way they operate.
the
not
point
by the
is,
way
no,
the
no,
government
Mr.
or the
Patel, the
ministry
point is
operates.
this, please, now one sec. The point is this. I don't know why you're first of all getting so rigid about it. Why don't you admit? Now, you
Why
know
not
what the
rigid?
fact is. No, one
I'm
second. Some of the
explaining
planes,
to
no,
you.
Mr. Patel, you're taking, no, one second. Some of the planes are not delivered on time. Purchase of some of those planes have to be stalled. Some of these planes have to be sold off. Now, clearly, it was a flawed decision. You would at least admit to me today. No, one second. No, Mr. Patel, let me complete. You will at least admit to me today in hindsight that it was a flawed decision. I'm sure you'll agree with me on that.
Whether it's a flawed decision or not,
No, I'm
that is
asking
not
you.
the question.
I'm asking you.
The question is, did I decide on that particular type of
Mr.
aircraft or
Patel,
a
you
number
were
of
part
aircraft?
of the
That is the
decision-making
issue.
process.
Why are we discussing Arnab today? The allegation is that Praful Patel nudged somebody to buy aircraft.
Yes,
did I nudge them?
Oh,
the
yes,
answer is no.
Oh, yes,
did I persuade them to buy X number of aircraft? The answer is no. Whatever
Patel,
decisions were taken was by this elaborate process of governance, and at the end of the day, there were 20 agencies involved which are looking at different things. I cannot decide for the Ministry of Finance. I cannot decide for the Planning Commission. I cannot decide for the EGOM. I cannot decide for the Cabinet. Yeah. Please, for God's sake, this myth and this kind. And if Mr. Rai has anything proof, he should have written. In this report, there was no stopping him. He has access to every single document. That is how these reports are prepared.
Mr. Patel, do you concede that? Do you at least concede to everyone watching tonight, please, that your decision to acquire 68 planes instead of the originally proposed 28 was flawed? I mean, why are you stuck on that? Possibly it was flawed. Will it be a great loss of face for you to admit today that your decision was flawed?
When I ceased to be the Civil Aviation Minister in 2011.
If you feel there was no malice or ill intent or corruption behind that decision, why don't you admit it was just a flawed decision?
Listen to me.
Why don't you admit it was a flawed decision?
No, first you listen to me what I'm saying. I ceased to be the Civil Aviation Minister in 2011. In 2012, 1 year and more than that, after I left, the Cabinet of India reiterated the purchase of the 27 of the 50 aircraft which you are talking in question. They reiterated that decision, and then the aircraft
were you not a member of that cabinet?
Delivered. So if the
were you not a member of the cabinet? As far as I know, you were a member of the Manmohan Singh cabinet till the last day.
Cancelling these aircraft,
were you not a member of that cabinet?
Yes, I was, but I chose to keep quiet.
Oh, how do I know you chose to keep quiet?
So why should I say if the cabinet
Why should
of
I
India
believe you?
unanimously agrees to reiterate the decision, because Air India, the proposal, I cannot now disclose to you what a cabinet note contains, but the fact is there was a proposal that the aircraft were needed.
My
In fact,
information
there is a
is
turnaround plan which says more than the number of
my
aircraft
information
on
is,
order
Mr. Patel,
are further needed.
My
And
information
even
is,
while we
Mr.
talk
Patel,
today,
my
the 68
information is,
aircraft in
Mr. Patel,
question,
that
as I
you are the
said,
most
at least
vocal
15
member of
have
the
not yet
cabinet
joined the
pushing
fleet.
these decisions. What my sources tell me is that you are the most vocal member of the cabinet pushing these decisions.
Well, I am talking of a decision retaken in 2012 after I ceased to be a minister of that department.
But still in
I'm
the
talking
cabinet.
of that, Arnab. Listen, the point here is...
No, the point here is, Mr.
Vinod
Patel.
Rai is fishing for cheap publicity.
No, Mr. Patel. Mr. Patel,
And-
1
and
minute.
I can
No,
only
one
say
second. Just a minute.
if
Just a
there is
minute. Just a
anything
minute.
of wrongdoing which he says, now don't question the number. Please don't talk of the number.
No, I'm not getting into the numbers at this stage. I'm asking you a fundamental question. Why aren't you answering a more fundamental question? I'm actually on a very critical point, Mr. Patel. I'm in a critical point of the interview if you care to
I
listen,
have not
please.
decided that number.
No, listen to me, please, Mr. Patel. Please. Now, this is a very serious question.
Yes.
One person who was there playing a critical role in this decision, when you were Civil Aviation Minister and when you were not,
Yes.
before and after, is P. Chidambaram. You agree
Yes.
with me?
Of course I was
So,
there.
what did he have any role? Did he have any role in this decision?
Which, the first decision?
The entire decision to buy these 68 planes. Did he have any role in the
Of
decision?
course, I mean, as a member of the cabinet, as a minister of a particular department, all the issues are obviously processed by a ministry. There's a system, and that is why I read out the whole system to you.
So you're
I
saying
did
that
not,
if you're
hide
saying,
anything.
one second. So
I'm
you're
not
saying
something
you
which I'm
can't.
saying
No, one
something.
second.
This is
You're
what
saying
Mr.
is
Vinod Rai
therefore.
saying.
No,
He's
you're saying therefore is the
formulated by
decision.
Air India,
No, one
approved
second.
by its board, examined and approved by Ministry of Civil Aviation, the Planning Commission, the Department of Expenditure, PIB, empowered group of ministers, and then finally the CCA.
Now, who was in the? Was Chidambaram?
How does
No, one
one
second.
not
Mr.
be
No,
part
let's
of
go
it? I'm
logically.
of course a part and parcel of some process.
Mr. Patel, you're not a member of the CCEA,
Yes.
but Chidambaram was, right?
No, I'm also a member of CCA because for a subject for which the ministry is
So you were a
concerned,
member
he's
on
also
that.
called.
No, so one second. The only person besides you.
decision, of
What?
course I
No,
am a
maybe let's go calmly and quick. The one person besides you who was a member of several of these decision-making processes was Mr. Chidambaram. Am I right or wrong, Mr. Patel? Why are you cagey about it? Tell us if it is the truth.
The final decision to buy these aircraft or not, and the number of aircraft to be bought, was decided in the empowered group of ministers headed by Mr. P. Chidambaram.
So, Mr. P. So, if any, no, so what you're saying, if anyone has a problem with it, including Mr. Vinod Rai, they should ask Mr. Chidambaram.
I mean, if this should also be a part of the, if at all somebody is saying, I'm not saying there's anything wrong, but if anybody wants to allege that more aircraft are bought, then I am not the only person responsible. Certainly not. It's ultimately the EGOM and the Cabinet of India which has approved it. They are responsible, not me.